What's up guys, it's Adam FPL and welcome back to another video here on my channel. In this video we're going to go over my points in Game Week 17, what my plans are and my team is looking like for Game Week 18, and what my plans are for the future game weeks. So apologies for being a little bit long, and apologies for anyone waiting for this video for a long time this week, but I wanted to make it as late as possible to get as much information as possible given all the cancellations of the fixtures and such. So with that being said, let's go to my points first for last game week and Game Week 17. So we see that I got 62 points, the average being 56, which was another really high average score. And I actually ended up getting a red arrow because of where my rank was. So I'm pretty sure many of the players I had around my rank were pretty highly owned, and it didn't give me much boost, and I lost out on some vital points that could have really helped me in the end. So as you can see, I got a red arrow of about 20,000 going to about 648k here, which I'm not too mad about because in Game Week 18 I will be free hitting, so I'm hoping that the gains I can make in the next game week will help me out a little bit here using my chip. So let's go to the team briefly. In the defense, it was pretty lackluster performance other than a lucky sub actually. So let's start with Kufal. So Kufal subbed in for Che Adams, who was one of my transfers in this week, because Che Adams had a concussion and he was not on the team. So Kufal got in for the 6 points and with the clean sheet, and I initially benched him and I was really happy to get those 6 points as it really proved to help me out. Cancelo, Justin, and Robertson all got 1 and 2 pointers. So Justin and Cancelo lost their clean sheets at the last minute. Cancelo in the last 20 seconds actually against Chelsea. He was on bonus points as well, which really hurt, but I'm kind of happy that I still have him because now a lot of people are getting him in. With Justin, he went from about 3 bonus points and getting a clean sheet too. So 9 points. He went about from 9 points to 1 point in a span of 30 seconds. So he got a yellow card, and they conceded the set piece because he had the foul, and Andy Carroll scored off of the set piece, and the clean sheet and the yellow card were gone for Justin. So Justin went to 1 point, unfortunately, and Robertson lost his clean sheet, surprisingly, to Southampton, Danny Ings, in the first couple minutes. So nothing to really brag about there, and Liverpool looked pretty bad in that game. With Martinez, we have the highest total in the defense, getting 3 points. Made some nice saves against United. Unfortunately, he let in 2 goals, but he almost saved the Bruno penalty, which I was kind of hoping for, but happy with Martinez for the long term. Now we go to the midfield, and we see that Salah blanked. Salah looked pretty, like the whole Liverpool team, they looked pretty flat and didn't really create much against Southampton the whole game. So Salah with nothing much there. It's actually his 3rd blank in a row, if we check real quick here, which is quite unlike him. Yeah, 2-3-2. He's had 3 blanks now. A little concerning, but I think he's still a keep for many teams. And Fernandes just keeps delivering the points, getting 10 points, taking the penalty, and getting 3 bonus points, I'm pretty sure, in that United game. Yep, 3 bonus points. He just looks great. Captaincy option every week. You can honestly just set and forget it on him. And Grealish with 7. He got a nice assist, and he surprisingly got 2 bonus points from somewhere out of that, and I'm really happy with Grealish. He seems to perform well against bigger teams, so I'm not worried about him. And he does have 1 yellow card away from suspension though, which is a bit concerning, so hopefully he doesn't get it this week. And then we have Son, who was my captain, who put in the goods. I kept him my highest scoring player, which is always satisfying when you do that. And this was a good thing for me because I was able to predict that Leeds were going to be pretty open and Son was going to hit the counter and hit them on the counter, and he did, getting a goal and an assist and a few bonus points. Captain to 26, which really helped, but he's so highly owned that it didn't actually help me that much because Kane also did really well, and I don't have him. We have Bamford and Calvert-Lewin with 2 points. They didn't really do much. None of my strikers did much, and luckily I benched all the right players, with Dallas getting 1 point and the rest getting 0 or not playing. So, if we hop on to my free hit team, so first of all, I'm going to be free hitting this game week. I did this because I don't really have many players, and I think that the gains made in this game week can be bigger than the likes of game week 29, and I'm still planning on hopefully bench boosting in game week 19. So with the free hit this week, there are some top teams like Arsenal, Manchester City, and Manchester United, and I think that you can find a pretty good free hit team from these teams, and I think that I've built a pretty good one. So if we go over to my free hit team that I have, this is probably my favorite option at the moment. So let's kind of go over it. So first of all, I made this team due to the possible fixture cancellation, so I'm going to talk about those considerations in a minute. But Aston Villa versus Spurs could be off because Aston Villa's first team got infected with COVID. In fact, they had to play their U23 team against Liverpool in the FA Cup the other day, so that fixture may not go on. And that is a problem because I don't think we're going to know until after the deadline. So I'm just going to have to make a decision there. And it's possible that Spurs, who can't afford another postponement, get Fulham back in this game week if that game doesn't go on. But everything's kind of up in the air, and this is kind of why I'm telling you guys that I waited till the last minute to make this video, till the deadline, because I wanted to get as much information as possible to give you guys a good video. And also with Southampton and Shrewsbury being postponed because of COVID infestation in the Shrewsbury training ground, that game is not going to go ahead, and Southampton versus Leeds in game week 19 may be pushed back to game week 18, negating the double game week for those two respective teams. So this is a problem for me, as I do have a few other players that would kind of negate the bench boost, but we'll see what happens. And let's go over this free hit team. So we first have De Gea in net, and Steele, who's just a playing keeper this week. So my thought with De Gea is that I can cover the Burnley clean sheet, and I think that it's likely because Burnley are not very attacking at all. The only threat they pose is on set pieces, essentially. And I think that United are starting to hit their top form, as we've seen with their recent fixtures and recent games. So with that being said, I kind of like De Gea in net. And this could also be Leno, who may get save points. I'm not a big fan of Darlow, and De Gea and Leno are probably the two best options. But with that being said, let's move on to the defense. We have Kilman and we have Mitchell. These are my bench enabling options, as I'm going to play 3-5-2 this game week. I'll show you guys the actual team in a second. So we have Kilman, who covers the Wolves and Everton game. I don't know if he'll play, so this might be may have to find a way to stretch to Coleman or something like that from Everton, the right back. But for now, we have the Wolves defender here, and we have Mitchell with 3.9. I don't know if he'll start over Van Aanholt again. It seems like Van Aanholt, he played in the FA Cup fixture, or EFL Cup, I'm not sure which one. But Mitchell did play really well when they played him. They kept 2 clean sheets, although they were against Sheffield and another team. But I think that Mitchell is looking good, and I think that he's an option at 3.9, and hoping I can get some bench cover from him. We then have Tierney of Arsenal, who's the most attacking defender. He recently had a huge haul, so it's a bit knee-jerk to get him in here, but it's only for 1 week. And I think that with him in the side, I'm hoping he can give me an assist or something like that. An assist to one of my other Arsenal players would be ideal, but I think that a clean sheet here is realistic for Tierney to hope for here, and maybe an attacking return, as he's looking great. And with Yedlin, he plays against Sheffield, so I'm covering the Newcastle game here with a defender, the cheapest defender possible. I could go Clark here for the set piece threat, but I'm choosing not to, I guess, as I think Yedlin has more attacking potential. And if we see here, let's go to Newcastle defenders. We see that there are a few options. There's Dummett, who I don't know if is nailed. There's Fernandez, who's a little bit expensive. Shar, same problem. But Clark is probably the only other one I would look at. If we see his history this season, he does have a goal scored. I think it was a header. And yeah, he could be a good option because Sheffield do concede a lot on set pieces. But I have Yedlin here, who Steve Bruce has really fancied lately. He's talked great stuff about him, and I think that he could get on the end of a attacking return, as he's so pacey and he likes to get forward a bit. And we have Cancelo, who I think is my favorite and the best option from the Man City defense. He is the most attacking. He plays midfield sometimes. He plays like a number 10 role. It's really weird, but it's really awesome at the same time. Really glad that I got an early hit on him in my actual team, other than the free hit. And I think he's going to be in this side. He has the most chance of getting an attacking return and a clean sheet. So that would be a really nice bonus from him if that happens. And with that being said, let's move on to the midfield. So if we look at the midfield here in this free hit team, we first have Saka, who I think is a nailed-in option in many free hit teams. He's a budget enabler. He's pretty nailed for Arsenal, and he looks like he's on form right now. I think that you put him in as your 5th midfielder, and you're golden if you're on a free hit. Not many people have him. As you can see, he's only 8% owned, and he had a really good game recently. And he's been on some form lately. These past 3 games, he's had 13, 6, and 8, respectively, in the points department. And I think that he's playing really well on that wing spot. And I think that Arsenal are kind of catching some form. So I think this is a great week to hop on Saka. And I've gone with the Sterling and De Bruyne double up in the midfield here for City. So the main conundrum here is I could either go double City defense or double City midfield. And in this case, with my rank being around 600k and wanting to get higher, I'm going to go for the 1 week punt of Sterling and De Bruyne over the double City defense, which is probably safer in theory. But if I want to gain some points on my free hit and attack it and be more aggressive, that's kind of what the chip is for. It's a 1 week thing, basically. And I think that if I hit the right week on Sterling and he does really well, I think that this could be a great thing for me in my rank. So with Sterling, he's obviously a very streaky player. He's very hot and cold. One week he'll score you a hat trick, and then he'll go the next few weeks without scoring a goal. So it's just kind of you have to hit on him and hope. But I think I'm willing to take that risk. As City play Brighton, and Brighton are going to be without Basuma, and Sterling may be lined up opposite of Dan Burn, who everyone knows is the big, tall, and slow defender. And I can just imagine Sterling running circles around him. So I'm going to go Sterling and De Bruyne here. I think that Man City will do very well against Brighton, and I think that the double up in midfield could be very profitable. He's only 5% owned, as you can see, and they're at home, and both these guys like to play at home. So I'm going to think that the double up will allow me to be more aggressive and attack it, and this will be good, as hopefully it can, if it works out, it can help my rank drastically, and if not, I'll still have the one City cover up in the defense, and this will be good. So we have Fernandez, who's going to be a lock, obviously, in every team. He's very highly owned, which doesn't change much, but if I captain him potentially, I think he's looking at the best option, but I'll talk about captaincy a little bit later. But I think I like Fernandez here definitely against Burnley, and Son. Son is the main thing here, so Son could either be Rashford or it'll be Son. If we find out it's cancelled, then I can make an easy switch right here to Rashford, and as you can see, I have 0.4 left in the bank, and this should be good. And either one of them two, Son plays Aston Villa. I think you can get him behind any defense, so I'm not too worried about him. He'll get one chance maybe, and he'll score. He's so clinical. And like that United game, when United are a hard defense to run against, but they beat them 6-1 earlier in the season. So I'm thinking it could be a similar game. Obviously not the scoreline wise, but the setup wise of Aston Villa to Man United. I think it could be similar. And we have in the striker department, we have Brewster, Lacazette, and Wilson. So Brewster is the bench fodder, and Lacazette is a great option, I think. So Lacazette, if we look at his Arsenal stats over here, we look at, this is an understat by the way, so shout out to Block FPL, one of my favorite accounts for FPL, and he uses this website, and that's how I kind of found out about him. But it's called Understat, and it shows you really good stuff. So if we look at the XG of Arsenal players, we see that Lacazette is miles ahead of all of his teammates. We have Aubameyang in second, but we don't even know if Aubameyang is going to play. We have Saka, who's up there. We have Pepe, but not really considering him. And yeah, Lacazette just looks like a great option. And I think that he's been getting in the box more. He's on penalties when Aubameyang doesn't play, and he just looks great. And at 8.3 million, I think it's a great week to also take a punt on him. If we look at the XG per 90, same story here. He's miles ahead of his teammates, getting 0.66 here. Saka's next with 0.3. Yeah, if we look at his expected assists, he's not a big assister actually, but you look at him, he's down here. He did get an assist in the FA Cup yesterday, so it's not like it's not there. And I think that in terms of Arsenal players, I think that Lacazette, Tierney / Holding, because they're not too big of a difference. If you need the money, you go Holding, and Saka are the best three Arsenal options this week. But yeah, that's for Arsenal players. And Rashford, I think, could do very well against Burnley. He kind of does well in those type of games. And we have Wilson against Sheffield United. So I think that covering a Newcastle player who's on penalties and who's playing well on form kind of against the worst defense and the worst team in the league could be great. And if Wilson can get some points here, maybe a goal and 3 bonus points, that'd be great. So this is the free hit team. My main conundrums here are probably either De Gea and Tierney or Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Leno. These are my two options in goalie. The second option's cheaper, but I think this option's a little more powerful. I don't know. And I think that the other thing is double city defense, of course, or double city midfield. In this draft, I've gone for double city midfield. And the other thing, Son versus Rashford. If we find out the fixture's canceled, then I will go Rashford. But if we don't, that'll be a tough decision, and I'll have to think about that one. Play it safe or play it risky. It's that type of thing. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below of this free hit draft, of my thoughts, and of these kind of main problems that I have. So the combination of these two, going double city midfield or defense, and Son versus Rashford. And also, what do you think about Lacazette and going over Kane? So with that being said, this is my free hit draft. Apologies the video came out late again, but let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Tell me your thoughts about your free hit draft. What are your plans for Game Week 18? Let me know in the comments. I'll try to help you guys out the best I can. And yeah, smash that like button, subscribe if you're new, and if you made it this far and enjoy the content, hit the notification bell down below to get notifications on my weekly videos. So with that being said, it's Adam FPL. I'll see you guys in the next video on the other side of the game week. Bye.